Yo. Once again, it's on. But it's on a different type of way. I'm going to step outside of the box and talk about something that I typically don't talk about. I'm going to talk about the NBA All-Star game. Just because I've had a plethora of people ask me about the Super Bowl performance by Kendrick Lamar, which I really didn't watch it. I don't really have too much of an opinion on what I did watch. And I did watch a little bit of the All-Star game. My opinions of the All-Star game is absolutely crap. That's what I think of the All-Star game. I think that the NBA is absolutely terrible. It used to be one of my favorite sports to ever watch. I've always loved the NFL. And if you want my opinion on that, that's crap just as well, because you can't hit a person anymore. Everything is a flag. Everything is a problem with the NFL. But in regards to the NBA, just in general, it's just terrible, man. Maybe the newer generation, they don't see that because they didn't see back when I was watching the NBA. Now, I didn't see Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell and all those guys play Jerry West. Obviously, I didn't see those guys. But when I initially started watching the NBA in the 80s, you had your Magic Johnsons, your Larry Birds, your Isaiah Thomases, your Michael Jordan, he came along. Scottie Pippens in the latter part of the 80s. And it was just really, really, Clyde the Glide Drexler from, the Trailblazers. And it was genuinely competition. Guys didn't necessarily like each other then. Larry Bird, man, Kevin McHale, the whole Boston Celtics squad. Guys they weren't as friendly. But now everything is, you got guys dapping each other up, and they got the secret handshakes that they do or whatever, and then they kicking it the night before and the night after the game. No, that didn't happen back in the day. See, the NBA has just gotten so watered down now. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because, in my opinion, they've taken a lot of the talent out of the league. Yeah, you have guys that are in the league that have talent. Don't get me wrong. They're athletically gifted and talented, but that don't mean that you know how to play the game of basketball. You got these guaranteed contracts to where guys are signing for on a low end. And when I say on a low end, like if you're a Steph Curry or you're a Giannis or, a Jokic, somebody like that, you're going to sign for 55, 60, 70 million dollars a year on the max. The max deal. But you got guys that's not really even like that, and they getting 15, 20 million dollars a year, and they not even remotely even like that. Yeah, they contribute to the team, and this is no slight or no disrespect to them, because to be in the NBA, you have to be great just to even be, on a team in the NBA. But guys getting paid 15 and 20 million a year and is only playing 15, 18 minutes a game, and they coming in maybe giving you, 8 points off the bench and, 5, 6 rebounds and a couple assists. And I mean, this is just terrible. So how can a league such as the NBA, to where you got maybe your 6th or 7th guy, 8th guy making way more than what the coach is making? How can a league like that prosper? Who is going to pay attention to the coaches? Ain't nobody listening to no coach. I have a friend, and we always talk about, he's from New York, man. Shout out to my guy. I call him New York or whatever. He's from Spanish Harlem. He always talks about if he was a coach, he would sit LeBron James down. You would be fired. You can't sit a LeBron James down. You can't sit an all-star down. This is not how sports was back in the day. And I just think that, you got guys that are coming into the league that's not ready to play. A la Bronny James. No disrespect to Bronny James, but come on, man. Yeah, he's you can see improvement in his game, but the thing about it, he never even should have been in this predicament, in this scenario in the first place. This guy shouldn't be in the league. But then you take a guy like Hersey Miller, that is the younger son of Master P, that plays for Houston. He's barely getting any clock at Houston. Now I understand that Sampson, Houston's coach, he doesn't really play freshmen like that. But this guy, man, he didn't make the All-American team, the McDonald's All-American team, and he was killing it. As a junior, Mercy Miller, Google him. As a junior, he took Notre Dame. It was a high school that he went to. They won the state championship in California. California won the state championship. This guy was averaging close to 30 a game. Came back his senior year, they didn't win the state, but, he duplicated his numbers, had even better numbers, and he doesn't make the McDonald's All-American team. But you got guys like Bronny James, which was a year ahead of Mercy Miller. He's taking up roster spots. And then you get this guy to the NBA, and then it's like, oh, what's wrong with that, man? Guys been doing that for years, putting their sons in position in different businesses, and that's in the corporate world. See, in the sports world, it's totally different because this guy never even should even had a chance to get to the NBA. Bronny James never even should have had an opportunity for a tryout because he was not good. He's not good. He's getting a whole lot of training, special treatment. He's getting a whole lot of touches that he would normally never, ever even remotely have a chance of being privy to. You see what I'm saying? And this is what the NBA is seems to be compelled of. Yeah, you got a lot of talent. You got a whole lot of guys that can dunk and they can throw it off the wall and do 760s in the air and, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, can you play the game? Can you be taught? Are you ready to learn and ascend your game to the next level? No, they're not. Why? Because on the low end, I'm making $12 million a year. And I don't barely even get in the game. And I'm making $12 million a year based upon what I could potentially do in the future. The All-Star game is crap. I don't understand why they even had to change the format up. Back in the day when I used to watch, the East, you might have, depending on, let's just say the 90s, you got, let's see who was on the East back then. Y'all jump in the comment section and help me out. You might have, of course, you got Jordan. You got Isaiah. You got Scottie Pippen. You got, you might have Ewing in the middle. At power forward, I forget who was the power forward in the East. But, you got the best of the best playing. Then in the West, you got Magic Johnson. Or you might have John Stockton. Clyde the Glide Drexler at the 2-guard position. You got David Robinson in the middle. Or Akeem the Dream Olajuwon in the middle. You got Karl Malone. On the East, how could I disrespect Barkley? You got Charles Barkley that was playing the power forward in the East. And these guys really, really played and went at it, and they played to win. All this so friendly and shooting from half court, yes, entertaining. Steph Curry and all these guys, the crowd wants to see it because it's a different generation. These guys don't care anything about winning. They don't care anything about the 100,000 or whatever they get for actually winning the All-Star game. Nah, they don't care anything about that, man. You think Jordan them wanted to lose to the West? Man, Jordan them would come out there, man. Jordan might drop 40 in the All-Star game, whatever it took to win. It's not like that whatsoever now. And the culture of the NBA, it's been accepted. I understand it's All-Star weekend. It's time to lay back, have some fun, bring your family, friends, what have you. But the art of competition just seems to just be gone, man. Nobody wants to compete anymore. Nobody really wants to. I understand you don't want to get hurt. I get it. But you got guaranteed contracts. Back then, you think Jordan and Magic and Bird and all of these guys, do you think that they wanted to get hurt? No, they didn't want to get hurt either. But their pride, the competition, the allure of just, these guys are not beating us. We the best. We in the East. It's what it's going to. I don't even know the format of the All-Star game now. You got Team A, Team B, Team C, Team D. You break it up, and whoever scores this amount of points first. And come on, man. Just less is best a lot of the times. Let's make things simple again, how they once were. I can't even watch it anymore. I just can't. You got the best of the best in the dunk contest back in the 80s when you had Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb. You had Michael Jordan. They was competing against each other every year. Now it's like the best of the best. You've never seen LeBron James in a dunk contest. You don't even see the upper echelon and back in the day when you had Larry Bird and Chris Mullin and all of these guys that were really, really sharp shooters. Craig Hodges. B.J. Armstrong. Chicago Bulls. You had the best of the best. Steve Kerr, the best of the best shooters, were entering the three-point contest. Larry Bird, guess what? Nobody wants to do it now. Why? Because everything is cool. Nobody wants to take a L, man. No, everybody's afraid to lose. So you don't even really get to see the upper echelon, if you will, compete. And it's just terrible, man. I think that the NBA All-Star game is absolutely crap. I think that the NBA is absolutely crap. Again, you got some of the best athletes in the world. I'm not saying, but they can't be taught. They can't be coached. How you going to coach LeBron James? He runs that team. How many other players are running a team? How you gonna coach LeBron James when he can have you fired? LeBron is deciding who's on the team, who's going in, who's on the coaching staff, who's in the administration. Like, LeBron is deciding these things. Now, I understand I'm all with, having some form of power, but I mean, it's just gotten beyond ridiculous. NBA needs to go to how the NFL is. Take these guaranteed contracts away. Yeah, you're going to get that money if you play and you perform. But to just say, okay, Kawhi Leonard, we're going to give Kawhi Leonard $55 million a year, knowing that out of 82 games, he'd be lucky to play 41. If that, probably not even 41 games. But he's guaranteed $55 million. $55 million, that is utterly ridiculous, man. And that's why the NBA is crap in my opinion. I don't think I've watched the NBA game the entire season. And if it may be bits and pieces of, a game or two, I just have no interest. And I'm a sports fan. I'm a sports fanatic. I want to touch on the NFL just briefly. Like, that's just even the NFL is starting to make me just want to throw up. Just disgusting. Anytime there's a big play made, you got to hold your cheers because you ready to jump up and down. And sometimes you jump up and down, and lo and behold, it's a flag on the field. It's always going to be a hold. It's always going to be a roughing the passer. Listen, football is a violent, dangerous game. I understand you're trying to clean it up. You don't want people to really be getting hurt that way. I get it. I understand. The players should be protected. But don't take the excitement and the fun out of the game. There are going to be times, it's always a holding call. It's just like, oh my God, what is the deal? I understand that they want more points, but man, again, sometimes less is best. You don't even have kickoff returns anymore for the most part in the NFL. You're taking all of the excitement, punt returns and things like that. All of the excitement has been taken out of the game. It's terrible. But I'll still watch the NFL. But that NBA bullshit, maybe in the playoffs when it really starts to count. But you don't really have a whole lot of dogs in the league no more, man. Your Jimmy Butler's, man. He's a dog, man. This dude ain't about no showing off. He ain't about no... And do you ever really see Jimmy Butler in the All-Star games? Not like you should. Nah, players like that, they get pushed out. For the other players that are nowhere near man, I'm going to take Jimmy Butler on my team before I'm going to take a lot of players on my team. Because I know when we down in them trenches, he's a dog. Your Rajon Rondo's, although he's not in the league anymore, he was a dog. I'm going to take Rondo over, perhaps a Chris Paul, and there's no knock on Chris Paul, but just use him as an example. Your Kevin Garnett's. Where are all these players at? Your Rasheed Wallace's. You don't have that anymore. Everything is just soft. Everything is just, you want to look good. You want to, try to be smooth. Everything is dribble, step back, three-pointer. There's no offense. There's no high post. There's no pick and roll. There's none of that. Everything is isolated, one-on-one basketball. Got a play, he's going to dribble through his legs about 10 times. He's going to step back or step to the side twice, probably going to travel, and he's going to shoot a three. There's absolutely no motion. There's no offense whatsoever. Three-pointers. No defense being played. Man, back in the 80s and the 90s when Jordan was going through the rack, or going to the rack, Madison Square Garden and Christmas Day or Thanksgiving, man, you subject to get bloodied up. None of that now. You can't even dunk on a person now. And if you dunk on them and you just look at them, it's a tech. Then you question the rep like, what did I do? Don't say another word. But I'm trying to ask you, you get ejected. And back in the day, you would clothesline somebody and not even get attacked. Like, it's just too soft, man. But yet, hockey, let them fight. Oh, it's perfectly fine. Baseball, they brawl. Yeah, you might get thrown out. You might get suspended a game or two, but That's perfectly fine. But when it comes to basketball, oh, no, we got to control these thugs. I'm going to let you all put, 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. You all know what that's really about. Yeah, we got to control these thugs. We can't just have these thugs, just out here because it's too much money on the line. It's too much. What about the other sports? What about the other thuggish things that people do in the other sports? It ain't no problem, but it's always a problem in basketball. You can't do anything whatsoever without it being a problem, man. Without it being a foul, without it being a technical, without it being some sort of unsportsmanlike activity. And I'm just merely disgusted. I am disgusted to the fullest capacity, and I'm just not gonna watch the NBA at all. Maybe in the playoffs it'll get better when it gets down to the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals, and see who's going to the actual finals. But as of right now, what I'm watching, I can't watch it. It's crap. I refuse to watch it. I wouldn't go to an NBA game. I wouldn't pay $20 to go to an NBA game right now. Some people might say, oh, no, man, Kens, why you hating? I'm not hating. I've just seen real basketball from the 80s to the 90s to the early 2000s with Kobe and Allen Iverson and Shaq and them and Tim Duncan, and that's real basketball. What we're watching now is just pickup games that you'll see at the YMCA and guys just coming down, just firing the basketball, getting their 30 points so that they can get their $50 million a year, man. But I ain't mad at getting $50 million a year. I can't even front, man. Real Kens TV, man. Hopefully y'all like my opinion of the today's NBA.